Well, hello, boys and girls. This is Jim again from the Broom Cupboard. Hasn't got any bigger, but I'll cope. What I talk about today is my technical training in the army, in the Royal Signals. That was. Um, yeah, what they did was, first of all, they give you an intelligence test, sort of thing with you have to match symbols and all this sort of thing on this, and then they put an overlay on it when you've done it. From this overlay, you can see where your intelligence level is. Well, they got mine, and they said, "Oh, you'll have to do Army Education third class." So they have third, second, first, which is obviously the highest. And so I'm sort of went into this classroom where the Army Education officer was yapping away, and spent to do this third class, which is quite low actually. And this guy came running in with a sheaf of papers, handed it to this education officer. He said to me, "Cripps, you must go now to the second class. You've been upgraded." And apparently what they did was when they put the thing over my paper, showed me as being third class. But then for some reason they checked through all the papers manually about this cover thing, and found that mine, although my reasoning wasn't the same as everyone else's, it was still logical. So, and as a point of fact, I would point out this now, my thinking is different from a lot of other people. This was proven quite a few years later when I was doing a diploma in management studies at Trent Poly in Nottingham. And lecture there, got this picture on the board of this old crone looking really ugly. And apparently, if you looked at it long enough, it changed into this beautiful woman. And so we all got to look at this picture, and the lecturer says to everyone, "What can you see?" And they all said, "Crone." And I go, hang on. And he says, "What do you think then, Jim?" I said, "I don't know about this bunch of puss, but it looks like a good-looking good woman to me." Of course, the downside was that when theirs changed to a good-looking woman, mine changed into an old crone, but that's life. Kind of awkward, yeah. Anyway, so what happened after that was I went to the second class, which was basically simultaneous equations and that sort of stuff, some maths, a bit of English. Nothing really strenuous. I'm a lot better now, but anyway, that's beside the point as usual. So it was decided that I'd be a radio relay operator. Now, this is sort of stages, sort of send a signal from one place, relaying it to another, and then to another, and so on. And then at the end, of course, the information comes out and given to whoever wants it. Well, we were using this old American equipment called Amtrak, Army Navy Transmit Receive Communications, and weighed a ton. Everything was massively overbuilt, over-engineered. They had this thing called a 1+4 system where it changed one channel into 4 channels. So this was obviously beneficial. Nowadays, of course, they get hundreds of channels and equipment about the size of your laptop. But in them days, this thing was huge. It was about 4 feet high, 4 feet wide, 2.5 feet deep, weighed a ton. All of these valves, all hot, glowing. So it shows you how things have changed in communications. And of course, I had to be trained in this, and we went out in the field and hoisted these. The aerials had to be hoisted up, and they had like a sort of L-shaped thing. So you put right on the ground like that, bit of L there. You pull this bit up, and with the aerial already fixed, of course, and the coax down the side. This went away into a shop with equipment in, plug it in, and you was in business. This could be done pretty quickly if you was well trained. I mean, you could set the whole thing up in minutes, really. In the wagon in, out, down. Of course, then away again quickly. The whole idea was, of course, that if the enemy was sending shells over, you could get away quickly. I must tell you, this was peacetime then. Nothing going on at all, which I was quite happy about. I'm not one of these heroes, gung-ho types at all. At the time, I was 17 and a half when I joined the army. Green as grass, of course. I was quite happy just to learn a trade, and that was what I thought about the army. But we got a sort of lecture by one officer, really gung-ho bugger, probably sort of took after Churchill, sort of, you're here, you're not here to learn a trade, you're here to die. He went on like that, actually said that. You're going to die. He said, the bullets will be flying. He said, you'll be mown to pieces. He said, but that's what you have to do. That's your duty. And we all to each own. Who's this wolf? I want to follow him into battle. It's bloody dangerous. Anyway, so we had all this training, and there's quite a group. There's people from other organisations. We had 4 or 5 Gurkhas with us. They were quite friendly, but they didn't really mix with us. They sort of kept themselves to themselves. All spoke excellent English, of course. Didn't sound Indian or anything. Not sort of people who say speak English, but not as we know it, Jim. But anyway, they were fairly friendly, but as I say, kept themselves to themselves, never sort of socialised with us. And this training went on for 2-3 months, I think it was, something like that, and right into the summer. And I can remember we used to go swimming in the River Swell, which was not far away. It wasn't very deep, but there's 1 or 2 holes that were sort of deep enough to sort of splosh in. So that was quite fun, and we didn't really get out much. And when all this finished, we all, sort of put away to other places. And I was sent to Cyprus. So we went to Chester, where we given all this kit for the med, sort of lightweight KD bits and shorts and things, and putties. And we assumed that these were put on the legs like they did in the First World War. So we all laughing at this. And no. They went, so this went round like a little band round their foot. And that was it. Why, how we had the things, I don't know, but we had them. And they sort of made the boots look a bit better, maybe. But anyway, so eventually, after we'd been in Chester for a while, we were trooped all the way down to Blackbush Airport in Hampshire, I think it is. And we were flown out in this DC-6 prop engine job, 4-engine prop engines. I'd never flown in a plane before, so of course it was all an adventure. And I can remember in the evening, it was sort of dark, we and a couple of mates went out and looked at this plane. It was up there somewhere, big, huge tyres, quite impressive, someone had never seen a big plane. Well, seen big planes, never been in one. And anyway, eventually we all loaded up, and what happened in them days, they weighed everyone. If you were over a certain weight, it was, and several officers got, and they argued, but the captain of the plane was adamant, sorry guys, you're fat, overweight, you're off. He didn't miss his words. I like guys like that, don't mince around. Anyway, so we got going, took off, lumbered up in the air, and I say lumbered up, it really did. I mean, compared with jets these days, like jet these days, but in them days, anyway, we got going, and we're flying somewhere over, I don't know, Mediterranean, Crete way, somewhere. We'd been flying quite smoothly up to this time, and all of a sudden, hell broke loose. And the guy next to me, as it started, I put my seatbelt on really quick, but the guy next to me didn't, and he went up to the ceiling, and we just had breakfast. And them days, it was China, crockery, proper steel knives and forks, and all that sort of carry on. It was really nice. And there was cries from the front, and women crying, and screaming, kids crying, guys crying as well, I think. And at the front of the plane, some officer had gone up in the air, come down on his knife, and there's blood everywhere from a artery in his thigh or something. So it was really sort of frightening. Anyway, all settled down after a while. The stewardesses cleared up the mess, and as best they could, and we eventually landed at Nicosia, and got off as we taxied down the runway. We could see these guys. I think it's a place called Wayne's Keep, which was like a sort of centre for guys who had committed crimes in the army or whatever, for whatever reason. And they were sort of dressed in just their shorts and they'd gone up this hill which has been man-made and running up there with things on their backs and things, some sort of punishment, I suppose. And anyway, we got off. We got a plane. We trooped to lodgings, which in our place was a place called K, was right at the end of the runway in Nicosia. And I'll tell you more about this in my next little bit, because, as I say, I don't want to bore you guys out there, and things start getting interesting after a while. So stay listening and watching, and behave. Okay.